I know I am very extremely late to this, but Micaiah Bryant, a 16-year-old girl who called the police for help because she was being attacked, was murdered by police the day the Darren Chauvin trial was finished and he was announced guilty. So please, please, please keep checking out that link down in the description. I know there's only so much we can do with that link. You know, like protests can only go so far. Some people can't go to protests, but please keep checking out that link and please be staying up to date for anything we can do. What happened to Micaiah Bryant was about 10 days ago or more on the day that I'm filming this, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. I haven't heard any recent news, but please, please stay as informed as you can so we can help and do whatever we can that is possible to bring change, to help her, her family, and all of the other Black people in this country. Hello Friendzies, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to apologize now for the yard work you might be hearing outside. Everybody has decided they're going to mow their lawns today because it's kind of a nice day. So, today I wanted to talk about something that not necessarily is interesting, but I figured for some people it might be like a little bit informative. I'm not the first person to talk about something like this. Markiplier's talked about it, Crank Gameplays has talked about it, Shovel has definitely talked about it. Those are the people that I watch that have talked about this kind of thing. I'm sure other YouTubers have, and I feel like it's a very like person who makes YouTube videos thing. But I kind of wanted to talk about why college and I did not work out. So I'm about to date myself and then talk about, you know, back when I was in high school and add like numbers to those years. So, oh God. I graduated high school in 2014 and I had been accepted to a school. And I only applied to one school because senior year, and this is your trigger warning. I'm not going to get into details. I'm not going to get into like the nitty-gritty stuff because I don't really want to talk about it and I'm sure a lot of you don't want to hear about it, but I'm kind of, when I talk about it with like coworkers and like adults in the world, I'm really sick of being like polite about it, so I'm going to be fairly honest with you. So again, this is your trigger warning. I am just going to be talking about very briefly depression and suicide, so please just use discretion, and if you feel uncomfortable around any conversations like that, this will not be the video that you want to continue with. But my senior year was an absolute mess, and I didn't realize it until later on. Basically the entirety of my senior year was just one continuous depressive episode. I really was not focused on anything to do with school, but they had also, my school had gone from 4 periods in the school day. You know, you have like four to 5 classes that kind of like switch off first semester, and then it's another 4 second semester. They had stopped that to 7 classes a day, which was a huge adjustment for us as seniors, and it was really not fair for a senior year. It was really shitty. And I was taking an AP class, which I just realistically probably should not have taken an AP class. The summer workload of it was like too much for me to handle because I also had a job the summer before my senior year. So it was really difficult for me to balance the two, and I was just not prepared for the workload that was an AP class on top of 6 other classes to deal with. So senior year was really rough, and I did not do great. I really was not focused on school. I really was not focused on like SATs. And financially, my family was not doing great at all. I've talked about this multiple times before, but my family, you know, we have periods more often than some families where we struggle really bad. So we were not doing well financially at all, and the whole process of like applying to schools and everything is expensive. It's hard. Everything is very different right now because of the global panorama, but I can't speak on it because I have no idea and I haven't done this for 6 or 7 years, but applying to colleges is very expensive. I don't think that part has changed, and I really didn't know how to go about it. I like briefly talked to my guidance counselor about it, but at the same time I really didn't. My mom didn't really know how to do it because she never went to college. My brother, it was very different than like how my brother had gone because he went to a different type of college than what I was applying to. It was really just a mess, and it's embarrassing to have to go and ask like a guidance counselor or teacher or somebody to be like, hey, can you help me get like a waiver for like how expensive this application is? So because of that, I only applied to one school, and it did not help my anxiety or my depression at all because I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to get in, and if I don't get in, I don't know what I'm going to do. So that all happened. And like I said, it was just like, it was just not a good year. I really wasn't focused on school. There was a lot of things that went on that year that just didn't help. Because of course, when things are bad and you already don't feel good, everything terrible just happens. And then right before graduation, I'm gonna say this, I promise you I'm over it. I'm 25 years old. I'm over it. I'm okay. But I'll never forget this because it's too perfect. 4 days after prom and 4 days before graduation, I was dumped by the boy I was dating senior year, and he was my first love. So it was horrible. So I already, you know what I mean, already had a bad depressive episode. It's not his fault that it escalated. It's just something that happened. So on top of the depressive episode, I was dumped and I was very sad. So then I spent all of the summer being very... I mean, I spent the entire year really avoiding my emotions and everything, but I spent the entire summer not sleeping well, which I know, like, especially when you're young, when people are like, well, you just need to get more sleep and you just need to, like, go sit outside and have some water. It is, like, kind of bullshit because you're like, no, my brain is messed up. My brain doesn't make certain chemicals. Like, you cannot fix depression with, like, a nap in sunlight. But it does genuinely help. Like, please take it from me. It does genuinely help sometimes. A day that could be an absolute fucking 0 can turn to at least a 5. And sometimes that's better than nothing. You know what I mean? So I spent the entire summer not sleeping, being like horribly depressed, like even more so than it was before. And just having this thought in my mind that once I go to college, I'm gonna be perfectly fine. Like the switch is gonna flip and I'm gonna be perfectly fine when I go to college. That is not the case, especially when you don't help yourself. It's not the case, literally at all. And also, I'm not really a school person, especially in the sense of like American school, like public school systems. I'm really just not great at it, and it's not an environment I love. Like if you could pick only classes that you love, like if you could pick all classes that you enjoy, like I would still take English classes and I would still take science classes, but I wouldn't take the classes that are like required by the school boards and everything. Like I took marine bio senior year because I just needed one more science credit, and I loved it. The year before I took chemistry, hated it. Like couldn't stand it. It was too difficult. I did not like it and I didn't want to put any effort to it. I took marine bio senior year and it was one of my best grades. It was even better than my AP class, and my AP class was an English one. So you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure plenty of people agree with me. If you could kind of pick and choose what you were able to study, it would be a lot more entertaining and it would be a lot more engaging. I am just not somebody who ever really enjoyed school. I enjoyed aspects of school, I enjoyed certain classes, but school as a whole, absolutely not. So I probably should have taken a gap year, realistically, and there's no shame in taking a gap year, literally ever, especially the way this country is now. Like, if you take a gap year and you're able to and you just hang around and do stupid shit, like that's totally fine. If you take a gap year and you work, that's totally fine. Honestly, for your mental health, if you're able to, it's much better for you. Definitely should have taken a gap year, but that was just not something that like was ever in my brain. Obviously, you know, hindsight 2020 and all that, but whatever. So I had this whole thing in my head where everything was going to change in college and everything was going to be perfectly fine. I went to college, and the first week I was there, all of the emotions and the depression and the anxiety hit me at once, and I wasn't able to avoid it anymore. And that was very, very hard. And again, I'm going to be super brief about this, but quick trigger warning, I was very suicidal. Like very extremely suicidal, and I hadn't been that way in a long time, like since I was a young teenager. So it was even more jarring because of that. So I obviously wasn't focused on school. What did I take? I took psych. I took a math class that I like was required of me because I didn't pass like the entrance exam thing. It was like Logic 101, and I literally, he was speaking gibberish to me the entire time. I ended up dropping the class. And what was the other class? I took one more. I don't remember. I had one more class and I have no idea what it was. And it was being away from home. My mom is like my best friend. I am very extremely lucky and thankful that I have a really good relationship with my mom. And where I live, the school is only about half an hour away, maybe 25 minutes if you take the highway. But that was very difficult. That was really, really hard. Like, I don't even like it when my mom goes like away for the night. Like when her sister and her go out and have like a little girls' weekend or something. It's like, it still doesn't feel right. Like, I don't like it. Yes, I am 25 and still attached by the umbilical cord to my mommy. And no, I don't feel any shame about that. But that was really hard too, being away from my mom. She came, God bless her, she came every single Wednesday. And she would pick me up on Fridays and take me home for the weekend. And sometimes she would wake up very, very early in the morning to take me home Monday morning because she knew that I was not okay and I was not doing okay at all. I love my mom so much. Hi, Mom. I love you. Yeah, I was not okay. And so obviously I wasn't focused on school. I absolutely failed psych. I absolutely failed my math class. What was the other class I took? Like the math class was so bad that I had like horrible anxiety attacks about it multiple times that first semester. I dropped the logic class like completely, like 3 weeks into the class. I was like, no, I can't fucking do this. So yeah, it was not cool at all. I did not have a good time. And my roommate, that I had was from a very different type of life than she had a twin sister. And like a big family, like where the siblings were very close in age, and she was used to sharing a room. I am the youngest by 9 years and the only girl, so I've never really had to share rooms or anything. And like our differences very much showed. And the thing is, she was a very, very nice girl, like extremely nice, but she was not ideal to live with. And when you're already like not in a good headspace and not having a good time, the simplest things of like us having kind of different routines and everything, where it could be like, hey, can we like sit down and have a conversation about this? Like, I don't really like how you do this. Well, I don't really like how you do this. Okay, let's find a resolution and fix it. Were like non-existent because I was not willing to really exist, let alone like have productive conversations. So while I can sit here and huff and puff and moan and bitch and complain about how she was not a good roommate, I really wasn't either. Realistically, I can look back on that now and be like, no, yeah, I wasn't a good roommate. And hers was in like a messy, things all over the place, not really respecting my space kind of way. And mine was probably in like a really judgmental, like emotionally stinted kind of way. So I can own up to that now. I'm an adult and I wish that I had contact with her so that I could apologize. But she's also not obligated to forgive me. So, hey, if on the off chance you're watching this, you know who you are. I am genuinely really sorry. That was really shitty of me. I'm sorry, that was like wicked awkward too. So yeah, so then I didn't have it wasn't a great roommate environment, and I still wasn't sleeping at all. I would fall asleep maybe at like 6 and my alarm would go off for 7, if that, for my 8 a.m. So first semester was an absolute fucking nightmare. And I didn't do a good job. And the only reason that I like kind of made it out of that, not to get deep, but it was because I met my best friend Evie through Vine and 5 Seconds of Summer. Does that make me sound old? It does make me sound old. And this was all in 2014. So that's literally the only way it got me through that semester, because I was so focused on like waiting for Live Sauce to come out. Oh my God. I was really I needed to hear Live Sauce when it came out. So of course I didn't myself, because I was gonna miss it. So then we had winter break and I went home, and I was doing fairly better after winter break because it was a long time home with my family. I had Evie and everything to help distract me. And then when I went back second semester, it still was really hard. It still really sucked, but I was in a better place mentally. And I had like more of a support. I had a big support system behind me to begin with, but I was aware of my support system, and it was an additional person. So that was really cool. Second semester, I only took 2 classes because I ended up dropping another class because absolutely not. It was like another math class, and I almost got kicked out of the dorms. 1, because of the roommate with multiple noise complaints, and 2, because to live in the dorms at this particular school, you had to have like a certain number of classes. But thankfully, which I didn't even know, the lady that was like in charge of like the housing there is like one of my second cousins, like aunt. Which I didn't know. I was down in the office, like trying not to cry. And she was like, oh my God, hi, Heather, how are you? And I was like, I'm good. Like, I didn't know. Like, she knows my name because it's on the paper. Like, you know what I mean? And she starts talking about my cousin Mark. And I'm like, that was cool. It was like my saving grace. I think that's what got me, you know, to stay in the dorm and everything, because there was no way I was able to commute, like back then. I'm sure I could figure out something now, but there was no way in hell I'd be able to commute. So thank God I got to stay in the dorm. Thank God. And second semester was a lot. It still wasn't great. Like, I still didn't want to be there. Everything about being there was like horrible and made me just like, but it was a hell of a lot better than first semester. I had an art history class, which was the easiest A I've ever gotten. The final took 5 minutes, and the only reason I was in there for 10 minutes is because I missed one of the slides, writing down an answer. So, and I had like a writing class that like everybody has to take at that school, and the teacher really liked me. It was really nice, and I called him Dr. Carlos. And there was a pretty girl in my class that I became friends with near the end of the semester, and now she has a baby, and she's either married or engaged. And I don't know, it's really cool. She bought me coffee like 3 times, and I had like the biggest fucking hard eyes over her. So hi, Tanya, if you're watching. So it was better. But as soon as I was done, because my mom, the whole time I was telling my mom, like, I want to go home, I don't want to be here. And my mom just asked me if I could finish the year because of money, which might sound awful, but realistically, you can't get that money back, and I'm paying the school even more money. I'm still in debt. I think one of my loans is $3,000 and the other one's down to $4,000, but I'm still paying loans. It's still fucking crazy. It's awful. So for the sake of the money, I understand now why she asked. So I stayed for the year, and as soon as I left, I filled out like withdrawal papers, like that I was not going to be re-enrolling. I filled out withdrawal papers, and I have not gone back. Sometimes when I'm at work, because, you know, I've talked about this before, I have a shitty retail job that I can't stand. Sometimes when I'm at work and it's like a really bad couple days, I'd make like a pros and cons list in my head about going back to school. And legitimately, the only pro I can come up with every time I make that list is my student loans would be put on hold, and I would not have to be paying student loans if I was going to school. That's the only pro, and that kind of sucks. Because like I said, certain classes and stuff that I took in high school, I absolutely adored. I always took some kind of art class. I always took, like senior year of high school, I was taking 2 English classes because I like that, and that's what I'm passionate about. I've made a video about how I want to be an author, like. And in college, I think maybe if I was able to strictly pick what I wanted. I mean, obviously they have gen eds. I wish gen eds didn't fucking exist. But at one point at one point I even had a whole plan. I was going to go back to school at some point. I was going to major in like English with a concentration in creative writing, like something like that, and then minor in like art history or like library technician, depending on what school I went to and depending what they offered. That's what I was going to do. And what I was going to do is I was going to take all of my required classes for my major and my minor, and all my electives in the beginning. Obviously not 4 years, because the way money and college courses work nowadays, doing 4 years without doing like a vocational school, which there's nothing wrong with that, but doing 4 years in like a traditional university, there's no fucking way that you can do it in 4 years. It's just really not possible. But I was going to take all my electives and all of my required major and minor courses first, and then worry about the gen eds, because my reasoning was, if I have to fucking take math classes, if I have to, like I don't have a choice, I'm going to be much more motivated in a math course that is like the thing standing between me and graduation if I've already done all of the work for my major and minor. Which I don't think that's a weird way of thinking. I think that's a fairly knowledgeable way of thinking. So I had a whole plan, and I think, I'm going to say this loosely, I think maybe if the money was not so disgustingly much, like if the debt was not so horribly high as it is, and if I could kind of pave my own way and not have to follow strict restrictions, I might go back. I might. But at the same time, I don't know if I ever would, because now I've been at a, God, how long have I been at a high school? I've been at a high school for 7 years, and while I hate my job, and my job is a big detriment to my mental health a lot of the time, I've gotten very used to a certain kind of flow with the job, and I've gotten kind of used to having, like, randomly having, like, 3 or 4 days off, which is not great for my paycheck, but, like, mental health-wise, it's fantastic. I've gotten used to that, and I've gotten used to having my own money and kind of just being able to do, like, whatever when I want. You know what I mean? I feel like, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like sometimes going from high school to college is a bit easier in the sense of, like, being able to handle that specific type of routine. Like that routine that, like, public education kind of provides. Like, you're used to going to school, you're used to kind of, I'm not saying it's easy to do this, but you kind of know how to go through the motions of going to school, going to an extracurricular, getting homework done, you know, like studying papers, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's like muscle memory. You know kind of how to get through that. And I think after being out of it for as long as I have, even if, you know, let's say they're like, you can go to college for free and you can study whatever the fuck you want. You do not have to take gen eds. If you know what I mean? Say you want to do creative writing and art history, or you only have to take those classes. Like, free reign, ideal world, utopia version of going to college. I still don't know if I would go back, because I no longer have that muscle memory. Like, jokingly, one time I went on my computer and tried to, like, set up, like, MLA format on my computer, and, like, in a Word document, and, like, pretend like I was gonna write a paper. And even sitting there and, like, looking up what MLA format was supposed to look like, I couldn't get my hands to do it. It doesn't make sense to me anymore. And I feel like when you're, you know, high school and everything, it's just muscle memory. You just hurry up, type it out, and then you start writing your paper. I can't. I blank. It doesn't make any sense anymore. My brain, like, cannot compute it. And maybe that was the issue I've had the whole time, and now it's just, like, even more apparent because I'm an adult. That's a scary thing to think about, me being an adult. Maybe that's just what it is, like, me being an adult, it just doesn't really work anymore. It's hard, dude. So that's just it. I don't know if I would ever go back. I know what I would study if I went back, clearly. Like I said, English major with a concentration in creative writing and a minor in either art history or, what did I say? Like, library technician. And I would take like crazy classes that have nothing to do with my major or minor either. Like, I would love to take, like, an astrology class and an astronomy class. Like, I would love to take another marine bio class. I fucking have a thing for the ocean, dude. I am absolutely obsessed with the ocean, but I'm also terrified of it. Just like I feel the same way about space. They say, like, NASA says they lost a black hole. How the fuck do you lose a black hole? You know how we lost a black hole? We're probably inside of it. Anyway. Like, perfect ideal worlds, that's what I would do. And, like, when I play Sims and everything, like, it's been different in every version of The Sims, but when I play Sims, my kids always have great grades, and they always go to college, and they always get a degree, and it's fun. Because it's not a detriment to my mental health, and I make sure I play with cheats so my Sims don't have to suffer. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about this, and I hope, like I said, everything is so different with the global panorama right now. Everything is, like, I've been out of the game for 7 years. I don't know how they're going anyway, but especially with COVID and everything, I don't know how it works, but I know everything's extremely different. And I hope anybody that's, like, going to college, like, after this summer, you're going to be going to college, whether it's on campus or online classes, I hope this doesn't deter you being like, oh shit, well, like, it's awful, so I'm not gonna go. I hope this doesn't deter you, but at the same time, I hope it maybe makes you more aware to like check in with yourself more, because your mental health is the most important thing. Mental health can lead to you not being here anymore, and we don't like that. We're not into that. And college can wait. College can wait. I know it doesn't feel like it, and in some situations it really doesn't seem like it. Like I cannot speak for, you know, people that get like, from people who come from like underprivileged areas that get like scholarships. I can't speak for anybody like first generation children of like immigrant parents. I can't say anything because I know there's different kind of expectations and things like that. So I'm not going to speak on that stuff. But if you're in a similar position to me and you're similar to me, college can wait. It can. You being healthy in your brain cannot wait. Why am I getting emotional? Oh my God. I have no reason to get emotional right now. I think I'm just having an emotional day because the day that I'm filming this is my cat's birthday and she's 6 and she's my baby. So I'm emotional. But you being okay is the most important thing. College can wait. School can wait. And nothing in this country is going to reaffirm that. Nothing in this world is going to reaffirm that. Capitalism and everything depends on you building debt and going to school. So everybody in your life is going to probably tell you to go to school, whether you like it or not. I'm telling you, you don't have to do that. I'm telling you, you can wait. You can take time. You can take a breather. You can catch up on sleep. I encourage a gap year. I really do. And if, you know what? If gap years turn into more and then you want to go back to school later in life, fucking go for it. It doesn't matter, bro. The thing is, the way this country and this world is, especially right this moment, fuck it. We're here for a good time, not a long time, you know? But yeah, I don't know. That's something I kind of wanted to chat about, especially this time of year where people are like getting ready and everything, and like the new seniors are about to become seniors and the current seniors about to go off to school or go to work or whatever. So I just kind of wanted to talk about it because, like I said, I don't want it to make you nervous and scared, but I do want you to kind of consider it and think about yourself and think about if you need to work on, you know, getting better. So yeah, and I know a lot of other YouTubers have talked about this kind of thing, and it's not super surprising that people who make YouTube videos don't go to college, I guess. It's like a pipeline, like point A to point B. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna cut this off before I ramble anymore, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you want to have any kind of, like, if you want to ask me any specific questions about this kind of stuff, please do. All my DMs are open, the comment section is open, wherever you feel comfortable, please reach out to me, I don't mind. And I will see you in the next video. Bye! That was scary.